This video is not intended for anyone 13 or younger. Hello viewers and welcome back. I'm your humble host Josh24214 and today we're going to be tackling a new manga series, and this is only like its first episode of it, and if this episode gets a lot of views, we'll continue on doing this in hopefully a weekly series again. So what am I going to be tackling? Well, if you have read the title, I am going to be doing chapters for a manga series called Record of Ragnarok. And the reason for this, why? Because I did watch the anime of the Netflix adaptation of Record of Ragnarok, which only handled like the first few parts of the series, and some people of the fans who loved this manga didn't really like the anime because, yeah, most of the fights wasn't really up par with better series that handle fight scenes better. I think it's because the animation company was being cheap. And yeah, so I watched all the Record of Ragnarok episodes on my own free time, and I thought like, oh, this is a very good series. And and when I watched online that this series is really damn good in art, so I thought, hey, maybe do this for an experimental video, and if this video gets a lot of views, we can do more Record of Ragnarok. So, what is the concept of Record of Ragnarok? It is basically the idea that it's a tournament fighters arc against the gods and humanity. And yeah, this is all pretty sounds like Mortal Kombat to me. So we have the gods and the mortals fighting it out in 1v1 action, and whoever gets to 7 wins. And if humanity loses, yeah, we pretty much get exterminated by the gods. So the anime series only handled 3 of the fights of the manga, and hopefully so so you're probably saying, where are we going to start this episode? So we're going to continue where the anime left off, and if you fans are fans of the anime and watch this series, we're going to be starting where kind of technically the last episode of the season 1 was done, technically, because there were certain gaps of information that wasn't added into the story, and they're probably going to add it if season 2 ever gets a pass, and probably get a much better animation budget. And if I had to ask an anime company to do this series, I'd probably ask like Studio Bones or something, not from a sweatshop, according to some people I watch who claimed that this anime company had some kind of sweatshop quality or something like that. It would explain a lot. So let me give you a quick little recap of what happened at the end of the anime. So at the end of the third fight between Conjuro versus Poseidon, the Greek god of the seas, has fallen. Conjuro wins, and we're getting a little catch up. Some of the scenes here are added into the anime, but we'll get into new territory as soon as things heat up at a certain point. So we are going to be tackling chapter number 20, Justice versus Evil. In Record of Ragnarok, when it's written, it usually comes out by week, month by month. So once we officially catch up, I can take a break on this, wait for a month for a new chapter to show up, and if this series gets really good, if we get a lot of views, and so on. So let us dive in and see what happens after Conjuro's victory. Before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It only takes 2 simple clicks. Click, click. Enjoy the episode. Okay, so we begin our chapter off, and this is like a 53 pages. This is like double issue of my usual stuff, so I'm gonna try something. This is completely new. So first off, on the first page of the chapter, we get like a Greek mural of all the various Greek myths, and we have our narrator basically saying, "A god has fallen. A god has fallen to humanity. Humanity has wrestled a monumentous victory from the gods." Chapter 20: Justice versus Evil, for a Record of Ragnarok. And we get a little box here at the bottom saying of the story so far, so we can get caught up on what's happened, thank God. The story so far: the third battle has ended. Having gained mastery of the dual-wielded Conjuro, crushed, destroyed Poseidon, ruler of the seas. This marks mankind's first victory. And we get a little out, so we get caught up on where all the gods are basically shocked, and we have our narrator continuing saying, "In the face of that incontestable reality, the gods," and we have like the multiple gods, random gods. We have Aphrodite, Shiva, Ares, Loki, Hermes, and Odin just looking shocked after Poseidon's basically Monty Python to death by Conjuro. And we see on the next page, we see the dead body of Poseidon, with the narrator continuing saying, "Silently gaze down." And we get a nice shot here with Conjuro as as Poseidon disintegrates into pieces and carries off to the lowest depths of the underworld, never to be reincarnated. And we have Conjuro standing tall on the next page. And we have the narrator, Heimdall, who I think is Heimdall, as he chimes in saying, Who could have foreseen this? Finally! In the third battle of Ragnarok, humanity has stolen victory from the grasp of the gods." And the humans cheer nuts, that seeing Conjuro basically chopped up Poseidon, and Poseidon's just looking up, being happy. And we move on to the next page, as the gods are muttering to themselves, saying, "You're freaking kidding me? That's Poseidon. That Poseidon has. How could this happen?" As we cut away to Brunhilde and oh fudge, I can't remember the little tomboyish Valkyrie with the tomboys saying, "Yes, yes," and her third yes was basically a "yeah," as all the mortals are just basically celebrating their first victory, and Conjuro, being honorable, takes a bow, as we see the other great samurai warriors throughout history that I can't remember on the top of my head. I should have read the previous chapters before knowing. As we see on the next panel, the other humans are basically cheering his name, Conjuro, Conjuro, Conjuro. As we get that going on, we cut back to Conjuro saying, "Phew, so damn loud. It's my very first win. Can't you let it soak in? Can you let it soak in first?" As he gets a nice smile out of it. As the crowd continues saying, "Conjuro, Conjuro, Conjuro." As Baldandi just has her inner monologue saying, "Oh gods, feast your eyes. This is humanity's potential," as she gets like an arrogant smug as she's looking towards the gods across the way. Probably. As we quickly cut back to Odin, as he freaks out of the defeat, but Odin doesn't really physically talk. He rarely talks, but he let his birds talk to him. Let him be those birds be his interpreter, saying, "No way, a god really lost to a..." And Odin destroys his goddamn awesome looking chair's shoulders, as we have Loki saying, "Oh man." As on the next page we see Loki continues saying, This is a really shitty excuse for a joke." As we see that the pathway through the human side doorway is finally lifted up out of the water, and Conjuro is saying, I gotta walk back, huh? I guess it's better than rowing, though. As we see Kanjuro just falls to faints from the ground. Damn, that one really took its toll on me. As we see the Valkyrie blades that he used to kill Poseidon disintegrates and then reforms back into her Valkyrie form as tomboy Valkyrie just shocks at this, saying, as we see the female Valkyrie who was helping Kanjuro out, saying, Kanjuro, keep it together. Are you alright? As Kanjuro counters, saying, yeah, looks like I gotta rely on you for everything, Miss Mono Horiso. As Tomboy interrupts, saying, Sister Hurst! And Hurst interrupts with, has like a weird bipolar disorder, as she goes for a crack sound effect getting angry, and just basically yelling her off, saying, Do you gotta squeal about every fucking thing? As the other one saying, ah. Oh, we do get her name, so. I told you before, Gur, that we get them back for everything. And Gur just saying, yes, as the two ride off into the medical infirmary to get better, hopefully. And Gur continues her inner monologue saying, I'm so glad. She's the same as ever. She's alright. And now we're stuck with Gur and Brunhilde starting to have a little conversation on their next page, saying, with Gur starting, humanity has beaten the gods, right? But Brunhilde counters saying, no. Still, 6 more to go. 1 down, 6 to go to win. And the gods are leading by 2 wins at this moment. And we have Gur's inner monologue kicking in, saying, Dear sister, do you really intend to defeat the gods? Don't you? As after that inner monologue cuts off, we quickly head back to the palace of the gods as we see someone's having tea, and we get into a meeting room in Zeus's chamber with Zeus, Hermes, and Ares having a conversation with Shiva. And Zeus is still beaten up after his fight between Adam. Just his bruises still there with Zeus saying, Phew! So close. What's up with everyone's faces? As we get like introduction boxes introducing all the characters here. And yeah, Loki's there too. And Shiva is mightily pissed off, saying, and almost made Zeus spill his tea, saying, Oh my! And Shiva interrupts, saying, This isn't the time to fuck around, old man. Says the guy who became Zeus's little bitch when Zeus just came in and just saying, It's my turn now, multiple times, and made you submit. Hopefully Zeus doesn't need to bring out the crop whip again. And we continue this inner monologue. We continue the meeting with Loki interrupting, saying, Your brother Poseidon was just butchered. Pretty calm, aren't you? And we get an introduction box with Loki. But it says Greek, but Loki is from the Norse mythology, so I guess they're trying to mix and put them all into one category. It's weird. And we have Ares coming in saying, well, that human was stronger than... Oh, no, I couldn't tell from the artwork that Zeus was saying. Well, that human was stronger than Poseidon. That's all there is to it. Besides, you've all seen the fights. You should know what these battles entail. And we move on to the next page with all the other gods in the room just looking at Zeus saying, With Zeus continues saying, "Phew! Let us first admit that humanity is strong." And we have like a Zeus's logic kicking in with Zeus saying, "It seems that little Valkyrie girl truly intends to overthrow us. Knowing this, we should respond." And he's in his buff form at the time. And Shiva rudely interrupts and continues saying, "Now that's been settled, I'm up next. I'm not gonna let those little shits get cocky." And Zeus interrupts saying, about that." And Shiva gets into a rant saying, "What now? Another one of your selfish requests? My most sincere apologies, but..." As we see, like, Zeus is getting really pissed with all the blood coming out from the bruises and the bandaged areas from his fight with Adam. As in the next page, we get some gorgeous artwork with Hermes and Ares getting super serious, while Zeus continues saying, shouldn't we of the Greek pantheon repay this favor they given us in kind?" So yeah, it's now implied that the Greeks want a little street justice for the death of Poseidon. So, and Hermes and Ares kind of agree with that with their looks. And on the next page, we get Loki just being Loki. And Shiva just continues saying, "Damn, guess it can't be helped. I swear, you Greek gods." As that little conversation is over, we quickly cut to within the arena's corridors. We continue with Gur and Brunhilde, and this is most likely taking place after a anime only scene. We got a little anime only scene with a scene between Brunhilde and Hermes, and we don't know what they were talking about. But I guess, like I said, it was an anime original, so it doesn't really count unless it comes into the plot later in the manga. So whatever was not in the manga, it's in the anime. I'm just probably going to address it, but it's probably not going to be reflected in the story. So we continue with Gur and Brunhilde, as Brunhilde continues saying, starts a conversation saying, "The gods' insufferable pride won't permit them to lose twice in a row. This next battle is one they cannot lose. They've been giving their all." And Gur interrupts saying, "Who do you think they'll send?" And we get a new competitor interrupting saying, "Me," as we see a huge burst of wind bursting out, hitting Brunhilde and Gur. As we see Brunhilde saying, "This pressure." As we see the person coming into the room, if you have seen the anime, you know who it is. Coming into the room with his, looks Greek, with a lion for a club. As we see the person in view form, and we don't know who it is. As we see Gerd charging towards this new figure, trying to punch him, but it turns out it was kind of a weird brotherly greeting, as Gur and our new Greek god is being buddy-buddy. And Gur introduces us to who's fighting for the gods next. And Gur says, "It's brother Hercules." And it is Hercules, the Greek hero from Greek mythology, with Hercules continuing saying, "Ha ha ha, you've gotten bigger, Gur." As, yeah, we got Hercules for our next bout. As Brunhilde just being all courty, saying, "It has been a while, brother Hercules." And Hercules continues saying, "It sure has, hide Brunhilde." Hilda? We get an introduction box of Hercules, Greek. And some people will probably say for this that Hercules or Heracles, but I'm still gonna stick with Hercules because I know that Hercules is it's more of my I like to say Hercules, but it's like the tomato and tomato thing, so I don't want to like any comments saying that oh it's pronounced Heracles, not Hercules. And it's your choice. If you're I just like reading it as Hercules, okay? So if you have a problem, that's fine. That is your opinion. So, as Hercules continues saying, you're just as polite as ever, huh? As Brunhilde continues saying, I'm glad you're looking as healthy as ever, too. As Hercules continues, I'm pretty sure you've gotten stronger, though. And Brunhilde continues saying, speaking of which, that response earlier would imply. And Hercules gets serious, saying, yeah, I'm going to be the one appearing in the next fight. So Brunhilde is kind of looking at Hercules weirdly. And Gur is kind of a little confused on what's going on with. And then on the next panel, we see Brunhilde on the floor saying, though it is not my place to say this, I wish you good luck. As Hercules responds in kind, saying, yeah, you too. And the two part ways, with Hercules claiming, up the stairs, getting ready for his next fight. As Hercules gets rudely interrupted by a weird whirlwind, followed by a whistle, on the next page we see it is Loki, probably doing some mischief making as always. I saw that. You sure get along with the Valkyries, don't you, Hercules? And Hercules just isn't impressed by Loki's appearance, as Loki continues saying, oh, I get it. Though our pantheons may be far apart in geography, they're both full of you half-assed demigods, huh? So yeah, Hercules is still a demigod in this universe. And yeah, they do bring up the whole two separate mythologies merge into one. And Loki continues saying, isn't this going to be hard for you? As Loki's just having fun. But Hercules just puts it off, saying, humanity is a fearsome foe. As representative of the gods, and as a military man, I intend to have a fair fight. And Loki interrupts, saying, hope that works out for you. As Hercules is going down the stairs. I thought he was going up the stairs, not down the stairs. That's weird. Hercules saying, Loki, let me just say one thing to you. As we get on the next panel, we have like Hercules still holding onto Loki's hand, with Hercules saying, I'm opposed to ending humanity. So, yeah, Hercules kind of on the bad side of seeing humanity probably getting destroyed if the humans don't win. And with Hercules continuing saying, however, ever since Ragnarok started, I have no intention of losing. As a representative of the gods, I will win without a shadow of doubt. And on top of that, next page, I will move to save humanity. As Loki's just saying. And Loki continues saying, you haven't changed a bit. You don't know whose side you're on. And Loki being arrogant and smug as always, and Hercules still looking down on him, saying, I'm always. Oh, Hercules continues going up the stairs. Okay, what's with the weird angles going up the stairs, down the stairs, up the stairs? Now, with Hercules continuing, I am always on the side of justice. And we have Hercules, as Hercules leaves, Loki just being with himself saying, justice, huh? And with that scene out of the way, we quickly cut back to the Teskix Records room with Brunhilde and Gur continuing their little conversation about what's going on, saying, with Brunhilde saying, I see our fourth opponent will be Brother Hercules. And Gur continues saying, "That's right. I don't know which side to cheer for." As we get a nice double bar of a panel with Brunhilde looking partly a little upset what she's going to do, and the with her eye, and then on the lower panel we see her having like a weird bipolar disorder or something like that, being all gleeful at basically killing her kin, with her saying, "Yes, troubling indeed." And Gur interrupts saying, "That aside, who can even stand up to Brother Hercules?" And Brunhilde, having her weird bipolar, catches herself as she continues saying, I had predicted I have prepared a perfect opponent for him from the beginning." With Gur weirdly shocked by this, saying, "Huh? Huh?" And Brunhilde continues as she's picking her fighter for the fourth round, continuing saying, "Among all of humanity I've chose. Of all Among all of humanity, I chose the most." As the slide bar moves, she continues saying, "Despicable scum on Earth." And she basically bangs her hand on the handprint, picking her fighter for humanity's representative, and it stops at that fighter. And Gur saying, "Huh?" As we quickly cut away to the Valhalla arena, getting ready for the fourth bout of Ragnarok, as we get Heimdall in the spotlight. And Heimdall starts his narration for hyping up the fourth fight. "And now, for the fourth battle of Ragnarok, the gods stand at 2 wins, humanity trailing at 1. As we see, while this is going on, the battle arena is starting to change, with one side of the panel with the gods and the other the mortals. And Heimdall continues saying, "And now we welcome the turning point of the early stages." And next panel, more of the arena getting built up, as we get a full page spread of the building fully complete. And we have Heimdall saying, "Ta-da!" As we get on the next panel, we see what we see in the next panel. We see the landscape for the next fight, and it's basically a recreation of London, England. We see old cafes, Big Ben, the streetlight posts, and we have the humans basically talking amongst themselves. Now they have to watch the fight on screen, saying, "Whoa, it's huge. Look like the largest so far." And I think we got the gods chiming in, saying, "So we'll be watching it on monitors this time." And the humans continue saying, "There's a whole town in the stadium. How are they going to fight in there?" While that's going on, we have Heimdall continuing being lifted by 2 birds on a I can't remember what, on a platform, with Heimdall continuing on his big megaphone saying, "The city standing before you is 19th century London. This field was chosen at the request of humanity's representative, and the gods, in their infinite compassion, accepted." As we see the gods being arrogant as fuck. As we see Heimdall continues on the next page, still being lifted by a makeshift flying seesaw, with Heimdall continuing saying, "A history's first. The first street fight between gods and humanity." As the humans chime in the next panel saying, "So he's saying that the gods just accepted a request from humanity? Why?" And the gods chime in being arrogant, saying, "Shut it, lowly humans. Consider this a fitting handicap, you fools." As we cut to Brunhilde and with Gur saying, "Makes sense that he would request this, and that Brother Hercules would accept, and he we're gonna meet in a minute." And Brunhilde is watching this gleefully, being sadistic, saying, I knew he'd accept. Oh, how naive. As we quickly cut away to the entrance hall to the human side of the arena, getting set it up with fog, lights, and the drawbridge heading down into the arena. And we get one random human saying, Mist? As Heimdall interrupts and introduces the human side of this conflict, saying, well then, I wonder what kind of battle they'll show us in this special arena, representing humanity in the fourth bout, is this guy. On the 31st of August, 1888 AD, as we see the human representative coming out of the arena, heading to the arena. As Heimdall continues as the human representative starts coming in, saying, this monster entered from the depths of the shadows. This monster emerged from the depths of shadow enshrouding the city. Who were the true victims of his sharp fangs? The lives of 5 prostitutes. Nay, humanity, society as a whole. Nay, in the blink of an eye, this man cast the entirety of London into chaos, the darkest of evils. The devoted to the insperable darkness of his soul. He is known as humanity's most infamous serial killer. As we get spotlights of the crows on spotlights shining a light to this new human representative, and we first see him, he 18th century, and he has a Guy Fawkes mask on his face, looking all gentleman look, being posh. As we see the mysterious fighter for humanity takes off the Guy Fawkes mask and tosses it onto the floor, with Heimdall introducing this fighter, saying, it is Jack the Ripper! And yes, we are getting Jack the Ripper as humanity's representative, and we get his intro box saying, Jack the Ripper, English, or England, basically. The famous serial killer who took the lives of 5 prostitutes. And humanity is kind of freaking out about this on the next page. What the? Jack the Ripper? The hell? Gah, you're serious? In the flesh? History's greatest criminal mystery will finally be solved before our very eyes. No, before that. Why is... And one of the bobbies in 18th century saying, why is a cutthroat murderer representing humanity? As we see Loki seeing all this, saying, oh, I see. So this is how you want to play it. Just as always, as he eating his chips, doing Pringles kisses or whatever. As we cut away to Brunhilde and Gur with Loki continuing saying, you're an unpleasant woman. As Heimdall interrupts, as we get the god side of this conflict, and facing him stands the man that intends to bear the burden of retaking the god's first loss. Here he is as he comes out on the chariot and horses, as we see Hercules ride off to battle, with Heimdall saying, this gallant demigod forced both the Memnian lion, the Cerberus, and Cerberus, the hounds of Hades, into submission with his bare fists. After clearing the 12 labors assigned to him, he ascended to the steps of Olympus. As we get as Hercules being fancy, as his intro saying, with Heimdall continuing saying while Jack looks on, he shines a light upon both God and man. the envoy of justice, as Hercules gets off the chair and gets ready. And more visual effects. As Heimdall continues saying, unparalleled in bravery. And Hercules puts his club down badass style as Heimdall introduces our fighter, Hercules! As we get Hercules Greek in his intro box. And the gods freak out saying, Hercules! Yeah! Go, Hercules! Don't give in to evil! Our eternal hero! Go for it! And the drawbridge lifts up, putting our two fighters in the arena. And getting ready for this bout as we get more awesome artwork. As Heimdall introduces to this bout and the title of the chapter, Justice versus Evil. Evil versus Justice. In all the battles leading up to now, there ever been one so clear-cut. The fourth battle of Ragnarok. Fight! Begins now. And that is the end of the chapter with the little box saying, the ultimate battle between justice and evil. Ragnarok will not be so simple as to promise victory to the side of justice. So we will have to wait until the next chapter comes out if people want to see more of Record of Ragnarok. And yeah, this is basically the hype for round 4s. And that was chapter 20, and we got basically the introduction of this fight with Jack the Ripper versus Hercules. And if you want to see more, if you want me to make more of these videos, let me know. And I will, if we do get enough views, I will continue with chapter 21, and we will see how this bout will play out. So, until then, this has been your humble host, Josh24214, and I really love this chapter and this series. Hopefully this goes well. So until then, have a good day, everybody, and I'll see you next time.